Coverage now of breaking news. Authorities say President Trump's ex-political advisor Steve Bannon was arrested in connection with an online fundraising scheme. He will appear in the Southern District of New York today. Let's bring in Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst. Judge, great to see you. The context for this for the audience is that a man named Brian Kolfage was kind of the face of this We Build the Wall campaign. Steve Bannon and a couple of others were also involved in this, and Kolfage's promise was he was going to raise $1 billion to help build the southern border wall. He raised about $25 million, Judge, and then the people who started donating the money were saying, hey, where's the proof? Where's the construction? He couldn't provide that, and so they complained. And my question to you is, what does the Southern District of New York have right now? You've seen these cases before. What kind of documentation do they need to indict these people?
Well, good morning, Trace. It's always a pleasure to be with you. We don't know what the documentation is other than what has been revealed in the indictment. Now, the indictment was voted by grand jurors sitting in Manhattan, and it discloses the bank accounts of Steve Bannon and the others into which the funds were put. So to continue the narrative that you gave, this entity, We Build the Wall, promised its donors that not a penny, quote, not a penny would go into their pockets. So rather than putting the money directly into their pockets, they funneled it to third-party charities, and those charities paid the money, according to the indictment, to Steve Bannon and to the others. In Bannon's case, obviously the person that is most of interest to our viewers because of his former relationship to the president. In Bannon's case, the government alleges and the indictment charges him with receipt of over $1 million. So there's two charges here. One is wire fraud, obtaining money through email using false pretenses by promising not to pay yourself and paying yourself anyway. And the other is conspiracy to do that. Trace, they're facing 20 years each for the money that they paid themselves in defiance of their promises not to do so.
Yeah, and the allegation, as you specified there, Judge, is that, Steve Bannon took $1 million, and of that $1 million, he used several hundred thousand to cover hundreds of thousands of dollars in his personal expenses to fund a lavish lifestyle. The same accusation against the other people in this thing. They were taking the money out and they were funding their own lavish lifestyle. We all know that, Steve Bannon clearly was in politics. When you look back and you see that he was also with Goldman Sachs, he's a financial advisor, he knows the money game very well. What is Steve Bannon's defense going to be in a situation like this, Judge?
Well, I guess his defense is going to be that even charities are allowed to pay their officials, and though the payment was high, $1 million to Steve Bannon, if this number is accurate, as compared with $25 million raised, there are other charities who pay that percentage to their leading officers. But the problem that he confronts is the publicity that they issued and the means they used. They had hundreds of thousands of donors who donated this money believing that all of it, and I'm quoting from the indictment, all of it would go to building the wall and not a penny would go to those who are organizing it. And then the use of the third-party charities to actually pay them so as to hide the payments from the donors and presumably from the government is an effort to cover your trail, because they knew they had misled the donors. It doesn't look good for him right now. They've known about the case since October. That's when the government began knocking on their doors. And what did they start doing in October? Draining their bank accounts so there'd be no money there for the government to seize. Again, I don't know that this happened. I'm recounting what the indictment alleges.
Yeah, and we should point out that the complaints from the people who donated this money started in May of 2019. So the ball has been rolling for quite some time. Always great perspective, Judge. Thank you so much for your insight. Good to see you.